We are live. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's having a great day. Happy. Oh. Recording storage is full. What? I want to add more. What the hell is wrong with you, StreamYard? Let me fix this. Oh, that was weird. You know what? Yeah. You StreamYard, you screw me up, man. There we go. It's time to fix that. Sorry, it's weird. Gets like that every once in a while. Terrible business this is at times. Hope everybody is having a great Thursday, getting ready for Friday. I will just say, if you did have Monday off, congratulations. I know I did. That was very nice, at least for me. And I know a lot of people don't like, the fact some people got Juneteenth off as a holiday. And sure, we can argue about whether or not it should be a holiday. Okay, cool. But ultimately, it's kind of it's an interesting holiday. I mean, there are not many times where you do that, where somebody gets to celebrate their holiday in such a fashion for such an event. Where are we? Now, with that being said, though, we got to get to the most important thing. Who was first? And it was Richard Gruber. Based. Yes. So, congratulations, Richard. Being first is what matters. Then over on in the Rumble ghetto, Carlton said he got to be first, saying which Rumble gave the time as 6:30 p.m. like YouTube. Okay. Dracumos, how are you doing? Saying I never seen any videos more than a few hours now. YouTube went to only displaying 8 in my subs. Yeah, remember, YouTube is doing it to steer you the way they want to steer you. That's how they be. That's how they be. Toothless says muted. No, not muted. Fair Frozen 55 saying talk is cheap, ammo is expensive. You don't want to have a good time, buy good brass. Don't be a brass goblin. That's correct. Don't be a brass goblin. Don't be a brass hog. Those get counted as +1 on the Titanic casualties, just like that submarine that went bloop. Yep. The GM says grounds. TPM 2019. So remember, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What else we got here? We got a couple other things here. Job well done. Member for 1 month saying, gonna miss this live. Hail the Rumble emotes. Thank you very much. Then there's also Carlos Ramirez, been a member for 9 months. Thank you. Saying glad to support. Well, I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Alpha Fox saying 12th, maybe 11th. Yes. Patty Leather. Also, hello, Claude. Patty saying Biden knew about the sub implosion Sunday night, but they didn't. They covered it up. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Although, yeah, if you guys haven't been paying attention or didn't know, the submarine, well, on the positive side, good news, they made it to the bottom, to the wreck. The bad news is they got squished on the way down. Looks like the submarine suffered a catastrophic failure to the integrity of its hull, and, well, yeah, just went. And at that depth and with that pressure, they basically, and with the air, basically got incinerated and pulverized and are now plankton food. So, yeah. Well, so, yep, they made it all down there. And then, the meta-ness will be, there will be submarines that will go down to explore that submarine wreck, which was exploring another wreck. So, there were some meta-nesses there as well. Sadly, though, those guys did not make it. It is sad. I mean, certainly, I think everybody wanted to see than pull through, because really they were just guys doing something dumb. Wasn't like they were bad people. So it does suck. I know there's probably going to be a lot of lawsuits involved in that, I'm sure, because there were billionaires involved, a lot of money at stake. So there will be lawsuits, and they will be very interesting. They'll be very interesting for a number of reasons. And I think some of the theories will be very interesting. But more importantly, I can't wait to see the discovery from Ocean Gate when we have to learn about how ghetto the submarine really was. Because, yeah, we learned about, the Logitech controller was made of carbon fiber, and it was all kind of off the shelf stuff that he didn't want no eggheads helping him design, which didn't want no government red tape involved, which is very uber libertarian, but you can see where that gets you. So I'm very curious to see where that goes. Certainly there'll be there'll be a lot of negligence claims. That said, though, I think there's going to be a lot of assumption of the risk. I mean, what did you expect to happen? You basically gotten some guys, basically he built it in his backyard, and you decided to go on a boat. So, real quick, Rosie 1 upgraded her membership. Thank you so much, Rosie. Says you're a new member. Thank you for upgrading it. So you're asking, what are the picture of the angels with the sunglasses? Okay, so the angels with the sunglasses. Let me see if I can open this up in a new tab. Or let me see here. Because I just screenshotted it, so here we go. Basically, I found this because I was trying to find something cool for a background. And when I was looking around for a background, I found this picture and I thought it was neat. This is from a courthouse somewhere in New York City. One of the, they call them Supreme Courts, but that's their local level courts, the lower level courts. I forget which one it is off the top of my head, but I saw this and I just thought it was really cool. And it's, the women of justice. And this is from the courthouse. Obviously, they weren't wearing Wayfarers at that point. She wasn't carrying a shotgun. She wasn't carrying an AK. And there wasn't a pile of cash on the ground. I kind of added those in and just did my best to make them look like they were part of the plaster painting. I just thought it was kind of funny, kind of cool. So that's how I did that. And it justified me buying Photoshop and writing it off as a tax write-off. Joe saying that's me from a previous life. Yeah. Ginger is not first. That's true. Mike L says, yep. Mike noticed. Mystery Sniper says severely not first. Yes. Mystery Sniper says it takes 5 billionaires to open the deepest new Five Guys, new Guinness World Record. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unhung Hero for $2. Thank you, sir. Says, F's in the chat for the Titan sub. Also, I'm going to come. Don't come. Don't come. James Hunsinger says, barely gay. Hey, it was 9:30 when I clicked on it. That's all that matters. Just Cause says, good evening. Krusty Moko says, hello, sup. Ashley said, just got done vacuuming. Oh, that's good. Sadie, hello. Third row 5 saying not muted. Yes. Participation trophy wife saying, look out, I made it to a live on time. Yes. Metal Matt says, is there a toxic chemical in the air today? Everyone's acting extra stupid. I don't know. Today was kind of okay for me. It wasn't a lot of dumb stuff. It was just a really long day. Stuff drug on. It took a lot longer than it needed to be. But no, I didn't have any experiences with stupid people today. So, well, knock on wood. But no, it wasn't a bad day for me. Dove Omega says hello. Cedar Rose, hello. Let's see, catch up here. Jonathan says we all need to be paid less days off for federal employees. Yes. Sure. Darb Sex says good evening. Stormcrow, hello. Luke, hello. Ag, hello. Yeah, Joe's thing with doing with the The Trump indictment, that is going to be interesting. And Joe actually invited me on, but I'm like, I kind of got you guys to take care of first. So we'll do that. And then I think I'll send you guys over there when we get done. Sky Queen says, Mark's safe from being fish food. Yes. Demonstrate on a White Claw. If I had one around, that's what I was looking for. If I had a spent White Claw, I would have used that. The Suviar said the pilot rage quit and smashed the controller. Alpha Fox saying they're being served the chum bucket. Ooh. All right, guys. Well, it's been about 10 minutes. I'm just we're gonna finish up here and get into it. Let's go, Brandon. Hello, fellow feds. Yes, hello. Track golfer, hello. Cedar Rose saying they signed a waiver which included the risk of death. I guess, you know what? We'll start with this tonight. Always remember, a waiver, waivers, and any legal documents you may sign in the civil world. The criminal world's a little different because, remember, like I said, courts will go out of their way to uphold criminal issues. But in the civil world, in a civil setting, you guys need to think about it like this. Any document you sign, sure, prenup, waivers of liability, contracts, whatever it is. Generally speaking, they're like race car drivers when they wear a fireproof suit made out of Nomex. Is it fireproof? No, but it's flame resistant. It's meant to keep them alive and from getting burned long enough to get out of the car. Okay? Now, sometimes it doesn't work so good. And you end up looking like a famous race car driver, Niki Lauda. Niki Lauda was a Formula One driver, and back in the 70s, in 1976, well, he had a bit of a wreck in Germany. And, well, Niki Lauda went from looking... Where's he's got a good picture here I need to find. Niki Lauda went from looking like a very strapping and good-looking man. Here, we're just going to bring this up now. Niki Lauda went from looking like this guy here. Niki Lauda went from looking like this to, well, let's just say let's just say the flame suit didn't work perfectly. Well, actually, that's not a big enough picture of him. Niki Lauda went from looking like that, a very good-looking man, to Niki Lauda went to looking like this. Had a bad day, you could say. Yeah, burned his ear off. Burned himself so bad, he burned the inside of his lungs because he got trapped in his car and the fuel sloshed all over him while it burned. And there's video of him burning alive. So I only bring this up to tell you legal documents work, but they're not bulletproof and they're not fireproof. So we'll see what happens. Now, like I said, can you say there's a big assumption of the risk? Yeah, there is. But there's a bit of an assumption of the risk, but you should assume this guy made it and it was tested. And it was tested to go as deep as it went. And that he had an idea of what he was doing, especially if he's asking for $250,000. I mean, that's like I said, it'll be interesting to see the legal theories that'll pop up. Pitchlock says, yes, off the shelf is not necessarily a bad thing, just not the bottom shelf. Yes, the one thing that'll hurt him the worst, though, is his interviews. He said, well, I don't want the eggheads helping me build this. Well, yeah. Common Lawyer says, thanks for the follow. Oh, you're welcome, man. I saw you. I clicked on, I saw that. So DB saying, nice work. Looks like professional did it. Yeah, thank you. Carlos is saying, are you going to try 6 days in Fallujah on stream? I might at some point. I'm going to try the battle, like the Roblox thing. That's like Battlefield 2. That looks pretty cool. And yeah, I might try Squad now since they're going to do a new upgrade to it. And Luke is saying, imagine paying top dollar to add yourself to the Titanic 100 years later. Oof, 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 oof. Off. Jim is saying the fact the Biden administration thought they could act like the Sosa's net didn't pick up what probably blew the eardrums out of the E3 text is hysterical. Well, yeah, it sounds like the SOSUS, which are the submarine warning nets that go from Greenland to Iceland to Scotland, and then are placed all along the Atlantic that were meant to detect Russian submarines, very likely heard this thing go boop, or I should say kadoosh, or more like skadoosh, when it happened. But at the time, those people didn't know. But think about it. Imagine you're like at the Coast Guard station in Boston, and you get a phone call. And you're like, yeah, Coast Guard. Okay, hold on. What? Wait. At the Titanic. Yeah, I know there's a shipwreck there. Yeah. Okay. So what happened? There's a submarine. You mean like a nuclear submarine? Not a nuclear submarine. So some guy built like a submarine in his garage, and he got it out to the Titanic? Wait, he's a millionaire? No, he's a billionaire. Ah. And he put 4 other billionaires in there with him, and they all went down to the bottom. And it, wait, hold on. It's powered by a Logitech controller? Okay, do you guys have a tether and, like, cable power? Oh, wait, you guys just, like, did this on your own? Did you tell anybody you're going out there? No? Oh. Okay, hold 1 second. Click. It's like, I'm sure he's like, oh, we could fix that one. I'm sure there was a lot of like, oh boy. Soupy said the Force Windows update. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, they yes. Yeah, there was a Modern Warfare update they had to force take down. Is Nate still suing Boozy? I think so. Time to chug a beer, you coward. You know what? I'll get one for you. Hold on, give me a second. Won't put that starred. Ain't gonna forget it. Alpha Fox saying you can't waive away a contract for illegal shit. That's true. You cannot. But this isn't illegal. Now, you can't contract away intentional acts or negligence typically. Because then that gives the person the right to act however they want, and that goes against public policy. But this isn't illegal. They did nothing illegal here. So they weren't engaging in criminal activity. You are allowed to go to the Titanic. Yes, technically, you probably shouldn't go around digging it up. Much like those Chinese steel mongers were down there cutting up the HMS Prince of Wales and the HMS Repulse outside Singapore, down by the Straits of Malacca. Yeah, you can't do that because those are war graves. But these guys weren't doing anything. They weren't doing anything illegal. So we will see what happens. Yeah, and like I said, the assumption risk only goes so far, but we'll see. It's a crying shame, says, don't bring me down, Bruce. Wait, was the guy's name Bruce? Oh my god, that'd be even more funny. A-Dub says his new face is so hot. And well, Nicky Lauda has since passed away, but he was badass, dude. Well, you're saying you're worried about lawyers, or you're saying, Claude, you're saying about lawyers in America. One of these guys is British. There's going to be lawsuits in Britain. There's probably going to be, there's probably lawsuits in Europe that are going to go. Lawsuits everywhere are going to go. Lawsuits everywhere. Nicholas Taylor said he didn't know Harvey Dent was an F1 driver. Oof. Niki Lauda is probably one of the better drivers in history. Him and James Hunt was an impressive rivalry. I mean, he was in the middle of the season. They had to pull scar tissue out of his lungs, shoving a vacuum tube into it. He was like, while he was conscious, he had to watch. He watched a race to motivate himself, and he got back in the car that season. So I will say, Niki Lauda was as tough as woodpecker lips. Parallax says, "I'm going to break all the rules on how to build a sub." Dies. Yes. So. Boomer says 3 billionaires and 1 kid. Yeah, okay. Harbor Waterball says barotrauma is so hot right now. Oh my gosh, horrible, horrible stuff here. Uncivil Law, Kurt, hey, how you doing? Hello, thanks for stopping by, Kurt. I appreciate it. Yes, Logitech and Xbox controllers have been used by the military. They use them for multiple things. I think even like the submarines, they have like controller-like setups. So it's not like ridiculous, but they also have redundancies. And they both have and the submarine has marine architecture involved and decades of research. What did Snopes say? Snopes says a Starlink failed. Yeah, well, Snopes is owned by a guy who paid for hookers and then hired that hooker to write for Snopes. So that's what Snopes is good for. Let's see here. Yes. I did see his quote about the submarine industry regulators are pussies. Yeah. Yeah, stick drift. Oh, that could have been the issue too. And then we're gonna move on to the real stories, though. Porcelain Thunder saying the Colombians should have been hired to build a sub. Yes. Well, hey, make sure if you want to protect your yayo, they'll keep it watertight. So, all right, guys. Well, that is that. Moving on to the real stories now. Well, Hunter Biden's skating, and he's skating like Christy Yamaguchi, Katarina Witt, Tara Lipinski, kind of like Nancy Kerrigan, partially. Like Tanya Harding. Who else? You insert whoever you want. Scott Hamilton, for those of you who cover men's figure skating, because he could do flips and shit. But he's skating. Oh yeah, he's skating. Why do I say that? Well, he got a plea deal for misdemeanor tax charges, which that part's not a big deal because that's happened to people before. There is a federal misdemeanor involving failure to pay income taxes. Okay. And I think actually when Robert Barnes talks about the Wesley Snipes trial, Wesley Snipes was originally facing felony charges and he got the jury to convict only on misdemeanor charges. I don't think he completely beat it, but in a situation like that, that's still a win. So, all right, hold on. Fine. You know what? We'll stop right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here.
Ah, man! Check him out, y'all. He having the time of his life.
Here you go, Brandon. All right. Anyway, Hunter Biden got a sweet deal. Would we ever get this? Probably not. Why? Well, your dad's not the president. Because the misdemeanor tax charges, notice, they bring that up. But they kind of bury the lead right after that. That way he can avoid a charge that he lied about his drug use when he bought a gun. Yes, that's the really big problem here. There we go. Oh, also, here's what happened to the submarine. There. So, there. So yes, when he bought a gun, because remember on the 4473, it asks you, are you addicted to drugs? Are you currently using drugs? You're not allowed to buy a gun if you are a drug user. That includes marijuana, or in Hunter's case, an abject crackhead. But he did it anyway. He bought a 38 stub nose, which he then later just threw away in a trash can, which, that screams responsibility. And yes, there he goes. Yes, because everybody else in the world gets a smoking deal like that with a federal gun charge. Now, he's not necessarily in charge of lying on the 4473 specifically. He's getting charged with making a false statement. But it all goes back to buying a firearm, and it's a firearm and drug-related offense. Now, yes, for those of you keeping track at home, you could probably figure out how many people get that kind of a deal when it involves drugs and a gun. Guns and drug use. The answer is going to be 0. I mean, let's. I mean, I'm just saying, like, how many minorities do you think get that? I'm only seeing a white guy get that. Only one special white guy getting that privilege. Just saying. It is very interesting. I know this is very partisan, but it's funny the people that are, they feel like the justice system is racist aren't looking at this and saying, wow, this is kind of fucked up, because, yeah, this is fucked up. This is an unequal application of the law, because nobody else getting this treatment. Ain't nobody else. I can tell you that much. So. Kurt said, and we are waiting. Yes. And amateur iconoclast is a KA-52 got me. Yeah. Oh. But yes, he's getting it done. And he is allowed to, down in Delaware, yes, it is a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, but I'm pretty sure you don't get to do anything in Delaware without Joe Biden's consent. So this guy probably has Joe Biden's phone number on speed dial. But yes, he's misdemeanor counts of failing his 2017 and 28 taxes on time and will be sent on probation. The deal is contingent with him remaining drug-free for 24 months and agreeing to never own a firearm again. Now, is he prohibited? No. But he's voluntarily doing this as part of an agreement to avoid felony charges. So you can agree to contract away rights. And yes, you don't need to own a firearm when you have Secret Service protection. So isn't that kind of nice? Because I'm sure we all don't get that. Now, the agreement must still be approved by a judge. Remember, a judge gets to approve plea agreements, accept them or reject them. Now, people don't like that, but I do think the judge has the right to gatekeep a little bit and say, is this in the interest of justice? I'm not really 100% sure it is, because I'm going to ask that attorney. I'd ask that attorney if I was the judge. Although, let's be real, it's a federal judge in Delaware. Guess whose wiener he knows how to polish? Joe Biden's. I mean, come on now. But if that judge had any integrity, he'd say, have you ever offered this before? Has your office ever done this? How many times has DOJ done this? Have they done it for other people who don't have connections? And I'm sure they actually might have somebody on the caseload in the District of Delaware where this actually might be going on anyway. And if there is, I hope to God that judge has the integrity to say, well, why aren't you giving him that offer? The 5-year investigation, the Hunter's resolved. 5 years. Think about that. If we had known 5 years ago that this was going on, imagine that. Imagine knowing during the election that this was going on. Well, that might change a lot. But oh, no. Just, yeah. Nope, that laptop wasn't real, and we already checked it, and don't worry about it, citizens. Okay. Yes, and they talk about here, there were only narrow tax and gun issues rather than the broader international conspiracies. You mean like violating FARA? Yeah, because accepting money from foreign governments makes you a foreign agent. You didn't register. Oh, well. Like I said, there are no two. This isn't even 2 tiers of justice. This is like multiple tiers of justice. And it only gets more from there. There's more and more people who are objecting and complaining to this. And I think that there are people out here who want to point out, Kodak Black, the rapper, his attorney slammed this. And he received a 3-year sentence for the same crime. Now, to be fair, Kodak Black had issues of his own. Okay. But yeah, Kodak got charged for the same crime, got over 3 years, and Biden won't serve a day. Does it feel right? Do the FBI agents and federal authorities take cases personally? Well, yes, we now know that they do because they're psychopaths. Now, I will say that there are some issues there. Now, his attorney brings us up that he's been a long time involved in the federal court. That I've never seen anyone where this was charged and they didn't get some sort of prison sentence. And in fact, most of the time in federal court, you rarely see people get anything but a prison sentence. Yeah. Now, Kodak Black was sentenced to 4 years in prison on a federal gun charge as a result of making a false statement while filing out a 4473. He was served half his sentence before Trump commuted it. Okay. But in his, Kodak Black's defense, it was, he kind of knew that he was not allowed to be on a firearm because he had previous convictions. Although, unlike Hunter, he lied on a different part of the 4473. And yeah, look what happened. So, yes. And what do we see after that? We see all the spin. Yes. Did Hunter really get off easy? Yes. Anytime you walk away with a misdemeanor, life is pretty fucking good. Especially if you get charged with federal crimes, including lying about buying a gun and having drug issues. All of that. You still get a misdemeanor? How is that not good? I mean, to argue that is just world-class cope. What the heck what's this? Oh my gosh. So, yes, the leniency or lack thereof the plea agreement may be in the eye of the beholder. No, he got a good fucking deal. Let's be honest. I need to make that a clip so I can put it in there. I really do. Yes, I love this here. 2 former IRS lawyers said Biden's deal is not an outlier and similar to what ordinary taxpayers could expect if they were investigated for similar conduct. Okay, maybe for the tax part, but ordinary taxpayers aren't addicted to crack and buying guns and lying about it. That's the difference. Susie Soccer Mom may mess up her taxes, but she's not out there smoking down every rock she can find, doing coke with the Obama twins, and buying guns. There's a big difference. Big difference. And they noted irony. Trump himself likely could have gotten a similar deal if he cooperated with federal investigators, eyeing his retention in the government documents. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's how it would have gone. Well, yeah, I'm sure that's totally how that would have gone. They would have said, oh, it's okay, Donnie. It's all good, brother. No, they wouldn't. But notice, they keep focusing on his failure to pay taxes. That's it. They don't talk about anything else. The laws are enforced. If it had been anybody else, I would say probably a little stricter, because failure to pay is very common. Notice these people are glossing over the bigger issue. We need to crack down on gun violence, and, we got all these gun laws we need to pass. Okay, well, somebody's breaking the gun laws, go after him. Well, we'll give him diversion. When the federal government's making its moves on people, are they going to start handing out diversion to everybody else who breaks the law? All these guys with the pistol braces, we're going to get federal diversion? Because they've got cleaner records than Hunter Biden. They won't have any tax issues. It's literally going to be possessing a short barrel rifle. You going to start handing out diversion? Ain't no fucking way that happening. Ain't no fucking way. But this is different. Now, I will point out, and I think it's in this one here, but somebody did point out in one of the articles, something I had talked about. The whole idea, if Hunter does take this to trial, well, he can argue that all the provisions in 922 are unconstitutional under Bruin. And I remember some of you guys were upset when I pointed that out, and that how dare somebody like him get away with it, but that's how it works. Bad guys are the ones who make good case precedent. It's never nice people. It's always bad guys fighting the law. And he very likely would have crushed it, because there is no historical prohibition on drug users or drunks from owning guns. So I think he very likely could have done that. And yes, there may have been an issue that the feds were scared of that. Because yes, if I was attorney, I would have immediately started thumping the Second Amendment drum. Why? It's because it gets you that win. You get those dubs. That's the job. So, Kurt, yes, crack is only Schedule 2 and therefore less bad than pot. Yes. Eric Foam saying, but pot is legal now. Not at the federal level. It's still a Schedule 1. Where are you guys at here? I'm trying to catch up. Hold on. But yes, that is where we are. Ultimately, I think, that's where we are with this. Also, I will comment, the Hunter Biden really got lucky down in Arkansas, really taking care of most of his child support obligations, and also having the court having that stripper he knocked up from being able to have her name the kid his last name, which that whole thing is just weird. But I mean, let's be real. When you name your kid Navy, I'm not sure she's going to get much further than you. It's like, now coming up the stage, gentlemen, it's Navy. Put your hands together for Navy. Also, $3 shots at the bar. You get a vodka. Everybody gets a vodka. $3 shots at the bar. Eric Fulham says 2 years, no drugs. Challenge failed. Yeah. Carrie saying, try to send you more money, but YouTube would not allow. Well, that's okay. Thank you for trying. Let's see if we got a couple to catch up to. Yeah, I'm evading this beer like Hunter's 1040. Yes. Well, I hope that fixed it for you. That's a shame for $4.99 says. Wait, I said Michelle Kwan and then checked Wiki to see if she's actually a skater. Number one, she was. And two, Biden appointed her as ambassador to Belize. Yeah, when you get, famous and you want political favor, you get appointed to like places that don't matter. That's very common. That's a very common thing. It's different than other countries like in Britain, where generally that's like you're part of the foreign office and you get appointed places. But yeah, in America, no, that happens all the time. Happens all the time. Isaac Baruch's wholesome gabagool for $5. Thank you, man. Saying, crush that can like it's a billionaire submarine. Oh, damn it, you did it before I finished. Yes. Carrie Matchett for $9.99. Thank you. Is saying the whistleblower today was nice. DOJ cover up. Yes. Yes, it was. And we'll get to we'll end with Durham statements to everybody, which those were pathetic, by the way. But we'll get to those because we need a black pill. And then let's go, Brandon, for $19.99. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Saying, damn, don't know to upgrade you from that rock candy to that white powder. Well, like Jay-Z said, man, you got to have that soft white, sure to come back brown. Get that butter all night. Because most bingers don't know a brick from a bike. They keep buying the hard white. Later tonight, we can meet to discuss price. FYI, never been robbed in my life. Let's go. Brandon says, how long are these IRS whistleblowers have to live? I hope they're partying it up. Yeah, they're running out of time. It says I'm not streaming at 1080p. What? I thought I had it set up so I would. Oh, I know why. Because it's they downgraded me for some reason, huh? I gotta figure that out. Broski's, it's Crime Shame says, I can't imagine my dad when I'm 35 with a young little stripper child. Oh, my Lanta. If that was my Faja, he'd be cut off from the food train over her. Yes. Porcelain Thunder saying, remember, they caught the mayor smoking crack with a prostitute and elected him again. Yes. And Jerry Springer just happened to write a check to a hooker, and they did not elect him again. Let's go. Brandon says, you don't fail to pay taxes on $10 million. Yes. Yes, very true. Ken, hey, Ken, it's good to see you, man. Look, Sean, it's not a big deal if I snort coke off a hooker's ass while buying an illegal gun and making deals for the big guy. I mean, we've all been there. Yes, we have. We have. Yes. Wow, you guys are just like flying along here. Chad is just. Saffron saying, don't make fun of the kid. It's not her fault. Yeah, but that's making more fun of mom than anything, because that when you give a kid a name like that, you have to like do the business card test or the like I've heard when I heard growing up, the business card test. Or imagine if you walked into a doctor's office and it said that, you'd be like, what? And you'd be like, no. Dr. Mio says, you're impressed with Sean's gangster rap knowledge. Yeah. Bonus points whoever can name that song. Allegan News says, can amicus briefs be filed with the judge before he accepts the Hunter plea deal? Okay. Oh, hold on. I got to sort something out here. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. I guess I needed to say this. I'm not saying what's going on, but we run Somalia rules here. I will also say, guys, let's try to be nice. We're all here together. I understand that we've run Somalia rules, but still, let's try to be nice to each other. With that said, though, that's any Fed posting. We're besmirching my mother's name. We're generally not going to be timing anybody out or hiding anything. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Darcy saying the business card test sounds like my house. Yes. Yes. So in other news, and this is something I will say, people were, Michael saying, don't make me turn the car around. I know. I'll nuke everything. I'll nuke everybody. I'll take well, Kurt, I was going to say, all I was trying to say is I made people who, like, I have mods to do mod stuff, but people I appreciate and, like, appreciate their opinions and, you know, people I consider colleagues and friends, I wrench them up so I can see them. And also just, you know, I think it's just a sign of, you know, that I notice and care about you. So that's more than anything what I was trying to do there. So just hope, that's really the main reason why I do that. So that's all that was meant by that as far as things are concerned. There we go. Had to fix something. Brandon saying, oh, so you don't care about us? I mean, I care about you guys, but we have, you know, it's just I try to work it out. Anyway, we're moving on to something I got people they were concerned about that was happening with SBF. Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, he's not skating. I understand they were dismissing things, but guys, like, let's just chill out, okay? They had to do this, and the charges have not gone away. They're still there. So what happened is he's proceeding the trial in October without a couple of the charges involving his bribery and things they indicted him for after he agreed to be extradited from the Bahamas. Now, why is that an issue? When you get an international extradition, your host nation that you were in, if they, you know, there's international law that's involved, there's treaties, there's agreements between countries, and based on what's gone on, Bahamian courts have said, wait, we didn't rule on you extraditing him for these other charges, which can be a problem, which means if he didn't agree to get extradited for those, they could say you're not allowed to charge him on those, which can cause problems in the case. So the charges he got after he had gotten extradited, the DOJ simply dismissed them, and they are going to set those for a new case that's going to get tried in March. Okay? So there's a court filing for this, and I want to show you guys the court filing because it does show what happened, and I think it's important to see what happened because if you guys aren't ready for it, well, it's critical. And here we go. This is from the United States Southern District of New York. This was filed on the 15th. USA versus SBF. This is from the judge, and the judge presiding over his case said the government has... Also, I forgot to say this, by the way. If anybody timed out or whatever, my apologies. You guys should be back in. If not, I'll sort you guys out afterwards. The government requested a specialty waiver from the Bahamas with respect to the prosecution of the defendant on charges first imposed after the date of his extradition. Counts 4, 6, 9, and 10, and 13 of the 5th superseding indictment. In view of the uncertainty when the Bahamas will render a decision on that request for extradition, they've requested those counts be severed and scheduled for a separate trial. So accordingly, those are going to get done in March. Okay, so they didn't go anywhere. He's still going to get charged with them. He's still going to have to face them. Now, more than likely, I assume he's going to plead out to the stuff in October. I don't think he's going to trial. God, he's insane if he does. He's probably going to plea out to that, and then those separate group of charges, he'll enter a plea to those. Now, is he going to skate? As of right now, no, he's not skating. Does that mean he won't? I mean, let's be real. It's the government. I there's also the issue of, kind of laundering money for the Ukrainian government and all that Bitcoin, but shh about that, and the offensive really is an offensive. It's not just a complete dumpster fire. But that's kind of where we are. Now, do I think he's going to go away for 85 years breaking rocks in Marion, Illinois? No. Is he going to do some time? Sure. Probably like Elizabeth Holmes style, maybe 10 years. I don't think much more than that. But yes, the idea, yes, but if he does get away with it, then we'll find out where we are in society. But for right now, no, he is not getting away with it. No, they have not been dismissed. They're just getting refiled. So everybody just, let's simmer down now. Let's simmer down. All just trying to tell you guys. So let's see here. Winter Soldier saying the Air Lauda B767 accident report. I don't know about that one, but yes, I know there's some issues there. Let's see what else. Let's see over in Rumble. Yes, and Fractal Failure says because Kodak Black is black. Well, yes, that's part of the reason why he got hammered the way he did. Yes, and Fractal Failure is also right. If Hunter Biden got that and destroyed part of 922, be Hunter Biden, the Second Amendment icon. But remember, Ernesto Miranda wasn't a nice guy. Map v. Ohio, Dolray Map, was working with Don King to run a numbers racket that the mafia in Cleveland did not like, so they bombed their house and tried to kill him. There's a lot of history is full of, exclusionary rule was not meant for good people. Just saying. J-Man saying, what's stopping the U.S. from requesting a relook by the Bahamas at the additional charges? Nothing. It's just their courts are working on it, but they're just, it's the Bahamas. They're like, summertime in the Bahamas. It's too, it's too hot to worry. I don't know. They're in Bahamas. They're probably, their courtroom's probably on a beach somewhere. So they're just like, order, and their toes are in the sand and the tide's rushing in. I don't know. It just takes a while, man. Bureaucracy is bureaucracy everywhere you go. So let's see. Whoa, crap. What happened here? MLS Law Show is saying a good question here. Do you know what the options are internationally if they violate the extradition agreement? Well, that turns into there's all kinds of international issues, international treaties. I did not have time to look them up, but they certainly are out there. SBF would be able to challenge his prosecution under these if he was improperly extradited. So that would not be out of the question. That would not be out of the question at all for him. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much, really. That's what would happen there. And it'd be a very valid defense. His attorneys would have to know how to raise it, but they could. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy down here. Okay. So that's where Sam Bankman is. He will be fine. Do you think they'll let him pay his bail with FTX money? I'm betting that's where a lot of his bail money came from. It was all socked away. What are you drinking tonight? We are drinking the silver bullet. Okay, so we've got there are updates in the Trump trial already. And I think it's a good point to cover those because that is a big thing, and I know people saw it. But the federal government asked for and received a order to gag President Trump, and not like on the Pornhubs, guys, not that kind of gagging. But they did ask for it, and this was sent to them by the DOJ. So Donald Trump and Walty Nada. The government's Rule 16 motion for protective order limiting discovery information. Rule 16 under the federal rules is criminal procedure is the discovery statute provisions. They're asking for a proposed protective order of discovery. The government conferred with counsel for Trump and Nada, who said they have no objections to the protective order. Okay, and then they go through all the stuff here, yada yada yada. Oh my God, conspiracy and sedition. Ooh. So the government's ready to provide unclassified discovery to the defense. Discovery includes sensitive, confidential information, include the following: personal identifying information, which, yes, you are not allowed to run around and disclose that. So when I get a police report and I get things in discovery, I can't just go run around blasting out people's information, especially if I have access to like social security numbers, driver's license, bank account information. For medical records, I get unredacted medical records. So I can see what your medical numbers are because I have to verify these are actual records. So information that reveals sensitive but unclassified investigative techniques. You mean like being scumbags and manufacturing things? Because that's what you guys do. Just saying, we all know it. Non-public information relating to potential witnesses and other third parties, including grand jury transcripts and exhibits of and recordings of witness interviews. Financial information of third parties, third-party location information, and then personal information contained in electronic devices and accounts. So a lot of stuff you're not just allowed to go running around and put people on blast. The materials also include information pertaining to ongoing investigations. Oh, I'm sure they're investigating. Disclosure of which can compromise those investigations and identify uncharged individuals. I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure the feds are still investigating people because they're scumbags. So they asked for the protective orders, and the court granted them by Jack Smith, special counsel. You fucking cocksucker. J.I. Bratt, counselor to the special counsel, who's probably a cocksucker himself. Probably walked around and sucked off the whole Mueller team. Julie Edelstein, senior assistant special counsel. Well, she probably got rotisserie time by the same team. David Harbach, assistant special counsel, probably doing it too, getting rotisseried. Getting airtighted by Andrew Weissman and Robert Mueller, probably. So, hold on here. Wait. Oh, Lon Lumber's here. Oh, Rob, I didn't see you, man. Oh. Hey, I made it to the SNF part. Made it to the SNF part replay ×2. Almost caught up my favorite criminal. Thanks. Oh. Bob Johnson says Cord just spied a big pride parade. Damn it. Why? Is there no beer? Is there no beer I can drink at this point? So I'm not going to make my own beer because that's a special level of like hipstery and kind of gay. I'm not doing that. That's even worse. I can't do that. I'm not making my own beer. So, Tits and ray guns saying so they don't know, they want to know what they took. No, it's not that. It's just he can't go running around telling everybody what they have. It's a protective order, meaning you can't go run around on blast telling everybody about things. Now, yes, in Ohio, for example, I get a lead. Some prosecutors' offices give me a leads printout that's unredacted, and they'll stamp on it, pursuant to Rule 16 of the Ohio Rules of Procedure, criminal procedure. You can't share this with your client. You can tell them about it, but you can't share it. I personally think that's not legal. They can't do that. My client's entitled to everything, and the idea he's not entitled to a Leeds printout. I'm not Leeds certified. How am I entitled to that printout? Either, really, technically, if we're going to be real about it. But that's another question for another day. I guess I shouldn't say that in case prosecutors are watching, but you know what? Fuck it. We're here. So we're doing it. But no, it's so that he can't go run around, at campaign stop and go like, check this shit out, guys. That's the reason. Yeah, Sweet Tooth Fairy, HIPAA violations. Two Scoops is saying this feels like an unconstitutional condition because they're forcing you to give your First Amendment right to get a fair trial. He can say whatever he wants about the case. They're just saying he can't go run around and disclose all the discovery. Now, I think at some point as this gets closer, he could probably get away with it. Nothing happens. But start off with, once the government, the defense finds out who the government's going to call, not call, yeah, he might be able to get away with it. But that's where we get to the next part of the idea of trial. Well, guess what? There is an app for that. In fact, there's what's called a trial order. And guess what that trial order says? An omnibus order setting trial date and establishing pretrial instructions and sentencing procedures. It'll be a 2-week period, 2-week trial. Okay. Commencing August 14th. Oh, lad. Woo. For those of you keeping track, that is, hold on here. Calculator from today, counting days, to August 14th, which, it's the Monday after my birthday, including one date. And yes, that is 54 days away. 54 days away. Now, do I think they're really going to be able to go to trial in 54 days and comb through all the classified material? Probably not. But Judge Cannon ain't fucking around. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, you're saying I'll be making mean, maybe. Ooh, lad. Ooh, lad. But yes, this is going to be... Yeah. This is interesting. Do I think they're going to need more time? Certainly. Would I assume the judge will give them more time? She should. But this Judge Cannon, ain't messing around. It'll be in all hearings, including the trial, will be held at the Alto Lee Adams Senior United States Courthouse, 101 South U.S. Highway, courtroom 4008 in Fort Pierce, Florida, 34950. Yes, all pretrial motions and motions in limine, which are limiting motions, trying to prohibit one side from doing X, Y, or Z, going both ways, must be filed by July 24th. Absent leave of the court, each party is limited to filing one motion in limine. If there's more than one defendant, the defendant shall file combined motions unless a clear conflict of positions exists, in which the party shall explain that conflict in their motions. Motions limiting may not leave without leave of the court exceed the page limit allowed by the local rules, and they must state with particularity the evidence at issue and legal factual order base. Okay. In accordance with local rule 88.5, the party shall file speedy trial reports every 21 days following the interest order until the time of trial or plea. And that is actually very common in federal court. That is not something you do local, in state courts. But yeah, guys, this is we're getting into some serious, we're getting into serial territory now. We're getting to milk and cereal territory. So Peter Watkins for $4.99 is saying, hold on here. There was what's the time of PC law card. Any chance you could reach out and see if there was an update? Yeah, I know on one of the streams, Steve, Joe's stream where everything kind of went to crap on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. Steve Gosney came on. I guess Farmhand Tom, who's working on all that, has had some family issues, some personal things pop up, but he's still working on it and working on getting those out. So I think they're still on the way as far as I know. If I don't hear anything soon, or if we'll give. Basically, Steve said give Farmhand Tom some time. He's working on it. So I guess just give him a little bit of time now. The bankruptcy trustee filed their first advertorial proceeding targeting money to celebs. More to follow. Which bankruptcy? And F with the SBF. Yeah. Oh God, Tom Brady, all those people who got money. Yeah. Yeah, those people are gonna have some fun. And I know Rob's covering it, and I probably will once it gets going. But yes, one of the most powerful people in the legal world in the United States is a bankruptcy trustee. The person in charge of sorting out the bankruptcy. They can pretty much do whatever they want. And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the bankruptcy trustees getting involved. And I forget the case right off the top of my head, but they were getting involved in it. Why? Because they can, and you can't stop them. They basically have carte blanche to do whatever they want. And it's very, very common. Oh, it was a Supreme Court case. The bankruptcy trustees were involved, and the Supreme Court said, yeah, bankruptcy can do whatever they want. Can't stop them. So just be careful. Elizabeth Me says they're pushing this quickly, aren't they? Yeah, but federal stuff moves. Federal stuff. They're depending on where you're at, there's some courthouses that just move like they're on fire. Federal stuff, though, it moves with a purpose. Moves with a purpose. Jim is saying Farmhand Tom had a problem with his thresher and he had to go back to using a scythe. Yes. Yeah. That's totally what happened there. Okay. Well, getting down to Florida again, we're going to touch on Conor McGregor. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, Conor McGregor, he is an Irish MMA fighter, multiple-time UFC champion, and he was accused of sexually assaulting a woman at the NBA Finals. And this is from about a week ago. This occurred during Game 4 of the Finals. And basically, this woman claims that she forced herself on him inside a VIP bathroom at the arena and aggressively kissed her and tried to force her into sexual acts, which you're not allowed to do even in Florida. Now, there's a Miami Police Department's been involved. There's a report that was filed. Okay. McGregor is denying this. He says, I will not be intimidated. I'm surprised he didn't respond by saying, who the fuck is that? Like he said to Chad Mendez. Her attorney, the woman's attorney, Ariel Mitchell, though, wrote a letter that the woman contacted law enforcement, and we'll get to that. That's not exactly true. The letter warned of possible litigation and called for McGregor to preserve all potential evidence, which it's a notice to preserve evidence, especially in civil settings. You do that and put them on notice. Now, I have a case right now where I had to notify a prosecutor and a police department, hey, you guys missed there as a camera. You guys should grab that from these people. And hopefully they did. Otherwise, it's going to be a little awkward when we get to trial. Mitchell also sent letters to the Heat and the NBA. Okay. Well, it gets a little going further than that. There is some video showing McGregor going in the room, but it's on TMZ and they're horrible about stuff because they're dicks. So we're not going to show that. But we are going to go to here, and this is an update. And we're going to cover some things here that don't seem 100% correct. Stuff just a little bit off. Okay. The Conor McGregor rape accuser claims she was offered $100,000 hush money from the New York Post. Okay, well, and it was also the Daily Mail reported this. All right, well, they're claiming that they're claiming it happened. The NBA said, no, we weren't involved in that. Don't claim that on us. Okay. Well, we get going on it, though, and in the demand letters, she claims that the security guards from both the Heat and the NBA basically blocked everybody off from the room and left her and McGregor in there alone. In the video, it kind of looks like it's only them two, but, who knows what actually happened in there yet. Ariel Mitchell, the woman's attorney, said that Miami police allegedly blew her client off when she tried to report the assault, which, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. The attorney says the Daily Mail was told that a detective at the Miami precinct where she reported the assault allegedly talked her out of filing a proper report. And this is where I'm like, I'm having a little bit of trouble with that. He walked her out of the building in no time, and the detective told her to hire an attorney before she files a complaint. He told her, if you file today, this will go viral. Yeah. I don't know, guys. You can press X mighty hard there. If you do, I'm not, I'm right there with you. If he said it like this, is that him telling her not to do it? Or is he saying, be careful, if you file this, it's going to go viral? I don't know, but yeah, a little bit of doubt there. And then we get down to here, when she hired her attorney, the attorney said she took her client to the police station 4 days after the incident. Like, what was the time frame? What were we doing here? What was going on where we weren't like, oh my God, we need to get the fuck to the police station right fucking now? Like, she walks into my office, hey, what happened? Oh, some guy, Conor McGregor raped me, and when did it happen? Oh, it happened last night. Or she's like, when did it happen? Oh, 2 days ago. We're going to the police department right fucking now. No, we're going to fuck around for a day or two. No, get to the police department like ASAP. That is just regular advice. If you are ever a victim of a crime, get to the police like Ricky fucking Tick. Don't wait around, because somebody like me, a defense attorney, is going to point out, if it was so fucking bad, why did you fucking wait? And I will make hay out of that all goddamn day long. Especially after you went and got an attorney who sent out demand letters and civil litigation threats to other parties, and then you went out and got the police involved. Trying to say, I'm not saying it makes you look sketch, but I'm going to make it look sketch. Alpha Fox saying, wait, so talk to the police? You're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last. Mitchell said her client handed her clothing over for the evening from the night alleged assault. What the item described as having McGregor's DNA on them. The attorney claims the police didn't even ask for it, and she had to tell them to put the clothes in evidence. I'm not 100% sure that happened the way she said it did, but Miami police officer serves as the department spokesperson, declined to provide details. The investigation is ongoing. Okay, so guess what? If these are the alleged clothes she wore, guess what she did? She shoved them in a bag, a plastic bag. It looks like a bag for something else. So, number one, this bag is contaminated with something else. Number two, it's plastic. And I'm sure those of you have an idea of, well, I guess just let's think about this. When we watch these trials and they show things that involve blood stains or biological material on them, do you guys notice what they're in when they get brought up to the witness stand and an evidence tech or a coroner opens them up? Paper bags. Paper bags. Brittany. Girlfriend. Yep, pie case, you guys both. Bam. You guys got it right. You don't ever put that shit in a plastic bag. You're trying to preserve evidence. Plastic suffocates. It can cause mold. It can cause moisture buildup. Paper bags only. Paper bags only. It's how you preserve stuff. Because if it dries, it can still be examined. But if you put it in a plastic bag, no telling what's going to happen. And this clearly, this bag is not a toy. Keep away from children and playpens. So who knows what the hell she got? This could have been for like her fucking bird seed that came in Amazon. Who knows? Yeah, Eliza, I never knew that. Yeah, so like when somebody gets murdered and like they have like blood-stained clothes, police have evidence lockers where they have like places they can hang clothes and hang like sheets, things like that. They hang them to dry them. And they have climate controlled rooms where they can put it there and it's air conditioned or heated properly for the time. And it's a normal room temperature and it protects things because once it's dry, you can then fold it up, put it in a bag, and it can get tested because there's nobody there sitting there right there swabbing it while the blood's wet. It doesn't work like that. It's got to get sent out to a lab. Well, it gets put in a bag so it can breathe. If you put it in a plastic bag, it molds. And Brandon says, if you hyperventilate, you can use the bag. And Fabric says, what if you put it in a blue tarp or a rain jacket? Yes, a big blue rain jacket. After you take all the brain water out of your son's head with a shotgun blast. And call back to the to the Murdaugh trial. Now, there are other issues, though, with this. And there are concerns that there are pictures of her and Conor McGregor hanging out together after this incident occurred. But we don't know yet. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of moving parts. So we'll see what happens. And Agbao Kevin saying the DNA is now degraded plus all the microplastics. Yeah. Like how many days did that sit in the bag? From like the day it happened? It's Miami. Or like Razor Rome would say like Miami. Did that get exposed to humidity, sunlight? I don't know. Brooks saying that peg was for her bad dragon order. Yeah. Jim is saying she's already given provably false statements about what happened that are contradicted by the video. She's fighting for a payday. Yeah, there's some. It smells like I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't picking on no broke finger. But we'll see. We will see as time goes on. But I thought that was interesting. There were so many developments that came out in this. Fractal failure saying proper 12 years. Sporkio says the BPA is turning the blood gay. Oh, you guys are funny. Too funny. That's that there. Aren't they always looking for a payday? The Tate chicks are too. Yeah, I want to try to get a hold of some of that stuff in the Andrew Tate thing and read it. But yes, that's actually, I guess, a good segue at this point. I know we haven't talked about him in a while, but Andrew Tate, yes, the toppest of the G's. The Cobra Dragon Bro or Cobra Tate, I think. I forget what the hell he's gone by over time. As he's sitting there in his God, what is he? Anyway, whatever Andrew Tate was doing, he got charged with rape and human trafficking, finally, which I did have an issue with. This had been dragging on for a while. Like, they had the goods. Let's get the goods. But, they could have just dropped it on him now. But yes, he's been charged with rape and human trafficking. Yes. So he's been charged in Romania. His brother, Tristan, and two other guys face charges. And this is Tate and his brother. They got all bearded up because they were stuck in the jail. And then we, all the creepy and weird tweets that made it sound like Tate, rode wieners to get his way in there. I don't know. It just didn't look good. Yes, he claims, I love this country and I look forward to being found innocent. I'm not thinking it's going to turn out the way you think it will. But anyways, the 4 defendants formed an organized crime group in 2021 to commit human trafficking in Romania, but also other countries, including the US and UK, which they do basically admit they started a cam girl farm to hustle men out of money. And yes, these women are claiming that they were lured there, raped there, and they weren't allowed to leave. We'll see. We'll see if that's true or they were just dumb hoes. I mean, take your pick. It could be either more. But we will find out. There's a lot going on here. A Romanian judge has 60 days to inspect the case files before it can be sent to trial, which, once again, you're dealing with Europe, and it's more importantly Eastern Europe. They do it their way. We'll find out what happens. But I have a feeling the top G was going to be getting topped a lot in the near future. You can call him lowercase g, maybe. Whatever happened to Tate's lung cancer? Oh, I forgot he said he had that or whatever. He just powered it away. He does that. If you think it, you can get rid of it. You can realize it. Self-actualization, that's what they call it. That's what they call it. Yes, Brittany, the mostest G of the G's. Snipers Nest, hey, what's up, buddy? Saying, I'm late and gay, but I'd be interested in discussing your take on how this is somehow a more libertarian problem more in depth. Yeah, let's talk about it on Saturday. Agusing beta pill Andrew Tate, yes. Chris Knobloch saying, is Euro prison grape any better than American? Okay, I'm betting prison grape. I'm betting surprise carnal in prison, regardless of where you are, is not fun. I'm still willing to think the American prison system is still better than the Romanian prison system. I'm just thinking. I still would probably rather be in prison in America than Romania. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Toothless says he can follow his advice. Just move the dick aside. Yes. That's true. Yes, he said that before. He'd rather date a hot tranny than an ugly woman. Which, do with that as you may. Ninja Bread Man says some of the women who were supposedly victimized actually said the charges were a lie. Yes. Excuse me. Yes, they said it was wrong, and the government said they're being brainwashed. So, yes, there are a lot of problems, but there are some women who said that they were victimized the whole way through, and there was no change to that. Hunch a Dirty Roofer for $5 is saying the Chop G is about to become a bottom B. Yes. Derna is saying in Serbia they let prisoners out on day passes to make them miss being free. Yeah, I'm betting not every Serbian criminal gets that kind of gig, but yeah, that's one way to do it. And also, when you're in federal satellite camps, you can get, when you're at the minimum security, you can get day passes sometimes. So yes, that was a yes, the top G is having his issues. But moving on, well, why did I point out that a 12-year-old is being an edgy boy? Well, he was being an edgy boy. And while I think that, this could have been handled, so a Jewish teacher resigns after getting anti-Semitic harassment for a 12-year-old student. Okay. Well, a 12-year-old student was harassing his teacher, who, after they found out the teacher was Jewish, made a bunch of anti-Semitic jokes and sent him a drawing of Adolf Hitler. Okay. And this teacher let the students know that they were Jewish, and then the child is now facing a misdemeanor charge of criminal harassment, which, once again, we've talked about this. Is this in the interest of justice to have the law involved? Well, did he hurt anybody? No. Now, the kid is 12, so the school can't do anything here. Oh, they can suspend his ass. They can do a lot of things to him. But the idea of having the police involved, charging this kid with a delinquency, which they could theoretically put him in juvenile detention for. Is this really the nature and place where the government needs to be involved? I mean, the school's already the government technically, but yeah, should a kid be getting charged? No. Is he being the kid's being an edgy boy. Really? I mean, that's what this kid's doing, and you can work with him on that to not be an edgy boy. But this is not going to help him not be an edgy boy. I mean, this is just going to up his street cred. The school officials later held a restore. So the boy began spewing homophobic slurs, so the teacher had her removed from class. And then later held a restorative circle in which a student, the teacher, and an administrator reflected on the incident. When the student didn't say anything during the meeting, that should have probably clued me in this was not going to end well. Yeah, yes. Oh. In April, the teacher showed up wearing a yarmulke to being observed for Passover, and then the student kept on talking. Well, I mean, you crack him across the face with a backhand, and it's done. I mean, especially placing Massachusetts, you might get charged, but you're probably getting it dismissed. Teacher smacks Nazi student. Now, this part here, I don't think this is... This, I can't believe, came from a 12-year-old, because this is horrible. Like, dear Mr. Robley, I personally hate you and your weird no-cap man bun. Well, if he was wearing a man bun, okay, I agree with the kid like that. You make fun of that guy for wearing a man bun. So I switched to Lena teacher. I doesn't appreciate you. And then I guess it's supposed to be Hitler. Hitler looks rather content, like, I have a problem believing this is a 12-year-old, though. I mean, I know our schools suck. I know they suck. They're awful. The kids aren't getting taught anything, and they're just coming out as like retards who use TikTok all the time. But come on, man. Come on. This can't be true. So, yeah, I don't believe that this should be criminal harassment. I just don't. I don't believe this is properly how this should be handled. Yes, this is just... That dude's at least 30. Okay, now we're getting all the artist jokes. Okay. Yes, the kid's expressing himself. The kid's an upcoming artist. Yeah, I'm surprised there's no watercolors jokes now. Parallax says, I don't appreciate you. Wrecked. Yes, it looks like Charlie Chaplin to me, too. Guess this kid has a future as a Wojak artist. Maybe. This is who we are, says Hitler was a painter, too. Oh. Mr. K says, 12. Have you met kids today? That's a 16-year-old. Goalie 171, yes. Well, he failed at art school with this, so that's a sign. Yes. And there's also the idea of going to this kid's parents. I'm sure a lot of parents would be willing to beat the chiclets out of their kids' mouths for being shitty like this. But, for whatever reason, no, we had to get the law involved. Wrestler Town says, well, to be fair, this picture has better light sources than Hitler's paintings. Brooks Euchre says, legit question. Does the kid have autism? It's possible. He might be on an individual education plan too. Yes, Eric is saying it looks like the 6-year-old wrote that. Yes. Ashley says, I would have got in big trouble at home. Yep, a lot of kids would. So, I thought that, I looked at that, and I'm like, once again, this is just another example of like, do we really need to be involved like we are? I don't think so. And then I guess we'll move on to here is, well, I guess speaking about topics of things involving Judaism, the Pittsburgh Tree of Life shooter. If you guys remember, this was a couple years ago. He went to the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh, killed 11 people. Well, he went to trial on all his charges, and he was tried federally, and he was convicted. He killed 11 worshippers in 2018. He was found guilty of federal hate crime charges, and then the jury is now deciding whether or not he gets a death penalty. His sentencing is scheduled for June 26th. So this one is just interesting because it was a mass shooting, and it's one of the few that went federal. Just like Dylan Roof, this one went federal, and they went to the death penalty, and they got the death penalty. His defense has never claimed innocence, but rather sought to spare his life. His attorneys repeatedly offered a guilty plea on all charges in exchange for life, but the federal prosecutors, and that's the neat thing there, they don't have to accept the plea. Now, I don't think that should be legal because you've charged me. I want to go to plea, but the prosecutors are not promising, like kind of like in Nicholas Cruz's case. You can plea out. We're still seeking the death penalty, which I think is fine. But at this point, yes, the go on to the penalty phase. I mean, he's found guilty of all 63 charges, 22 which carry the death penalty. So the capital offense charges 11 counts of obstructing the free exercise of religious beliefs resulting in death, which that's interesting. I didn't realize that was actual death penalty offense. Then 11 counts of hate crimes resulting in death. Well, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. But then we get to the idea of, should hate crimes really be crimes? No, we've already got crimes for murder. So if you want to point out the murder was committed with a motivation, fine. But to specifically label as a separate type of crime, yeah, that's shouldn't be doing it that way. Kimbo Knight says, get this kid to Stormfront so we can get power level. Jesus. Oh, God. Yes, hate crimes are the worst crimes. They shouldn't be, still, though. It's Trenton says, isn't that the question? He can plead guilty. They don't have to make a deal. That's right, but they don't have to accept well, I pled guilty, give me life in prison. No, they're allowed to seek whatever punishment they want. So, yeah, very much like Nicholas Cruz, you can plea out, but we're still going to try to kill you. And he's very likely probably going to get convicted. Yes, Tits and ray guns, you're right. Hate speech isn't real. Hate crimes aren't real. It's still speech and crime. Yes, but different. It's kind of how it goes now. Yes. Russell says it's literally mind reading crimes. Yeah, except in this case, I'm pretty sure they think they have evidence. He's like, I totally did this because they were Jews. But yes, a lot of times hate crimes are guessing games. Jim is saying, so if my religious what if my religious beliefs involve shooting full auto MP7s and M249s? Can I go after the ATF? Yes, I wish we could. People can get the right to smoke peyote. I just want a grenade launcher. So, and then kind of wrapping things up, this was something that there is 2 civil cases, and I think they're very interesting because they cover the concept of privilege and evidentiary privilege. Specifically, the idea of there's multiple types of privileges. Okay. So you have attorney-client, you have doctor-patient, you have ones involving therapists because they're not necessarily doctors, but you have ones involving your therapist. You have spousal privilege. There's other types, but then there's a big one called the penitent priest privilege. Now, that means generally clergy. Now, originally it was very restricted, but there's been a little bit of broadening of it. But generally, what you say to your pastor, your priest, your clergyman is protected, meaning it's privileged communications, meaning you have to waive that privilege before they break it. And that's because in a lot of religions, they can't break it anyway. And you just don't forget white privilege. Anyway, there have been a couple cases where interesting stuff has happened with that privilege, because normally you don't hear about it. In this case, we are hearing about it for two separate things. The first one was from earlier, well, a couple months ago actually now, but an Arizona court upheld clergy privilege in a child abuse case, and this centers around the Church of Latter-day Saints. An Arizona Supreme Court ruled that basically the pastors can refuse to answer questions or turn over documents under state law to exempt religious officials from having to report child sex abuse if they learn of the crime during a confessional setting. And once again, that's because we do value that. And that goes back to the free exercise of religion, that people should be able to freely exercise their religion without worry of the government being involved, the government compelling their religious leaders that they have to break that privilege. So, yes, generally speaking, people are mandatory reporters. If you learn about child abuse, you have to report it. This is different because there's an exception, meaning if you're a pastor, you're a religious leader, and one of your people come to you, not as a friend, but they come to you in your position saying, I need confession, I need absolution, I need counsel. Pastor, can you help me out? Father, can you help me out? Yes. Tell me what's going on. Tell me your sins, my son. This is a prohibition on the state being able to compel you to then go being forced to reveal it. Once again, that goes back to the foundation, because that's the free exercise of religion, which is nice because we should be protecting that. I mean, you go back to Jeremy Bentham, the famous philosopher, and he even mentions that this should be the case. And he argued, for example, that the priest-penitent privilege, which back then they were kind of looking in Catholic terms, should apply even in Protestant courts in Protestant countries. It should be respected because it is that critical to the free exercise of religion. I learned about that in law school. It was very interesting when you learned about it. So the lawsuit was filed by child sex abuse victims of the church. When these guys are a Mormon offshoot against two of his bishops and other members, they conspired and were negligent in not reporting to the church member for abusing his, older people here. Okay. This allowed this guy to keep abusing girls from, years and years and years, and also abused her sister. Okay. But anyways, that is the very interesting part of it. Now, that said, it actually has to be a real priest. Why? Because you get crap like this. A restaurant must pay its workers $140,000 after allegedly hiring a fake priest to extract confessions of the workers' sins. So a restaurant in California hired a priest to go up to its workers, and it's a taqueria. So you can presume that these are Hispanic people. They probably are from south of the border. Well, if you guys weren't aware, the Catholic Church pretty much has that place on lock. So that's the one neat part about Latin America and South America. Catholic Church everywhere. Ain't no Methodist running around. So anyways, the store owner hired a fake priest to hear confessions during work hours and get the sins out. And this priest would say, have you been late for work? Have you been stealing money? Or, did anything happen? Do you feel bad? Do you hate your employer? With this fake priest. And when they said, well, yes, I've shown up late. I hate I steal money all the time. I spit in the food. I make the secret sauce really special. Well, guess what that guy did? He turned around and told the employer, who then disciplined people. They also had a manager falsely claiming that immigration issues were raised by the department's investigation They said, look, if you get people involved here, the National Labor Relations Board, they're going to find out you're an illegal and they're going to send you back. Just a little labor law topic. You can't do that. And they don't do that. They just determine where federal labor law is broken because you still are entitled to the federal labor laws, even if you might be illegal. Very much like our constitutional rights, you know, you still have the right to remain silent, even if you are illegal. So the Catholic Diocese of Sacramento said this was never a priest. We don't know who this was. This guy was definitely not one of our priests. We can't figure it out. The 3 restaurant owners were ordered to pay $140,000 in back wages to 35 employees, and they have to pay $5,000 in civil penalties. But God, that takes some balls to do that. Holy cow. That is a way to handle that. And and I'm trying to show you guys, because every state will kind of have what's set up to be privilege. And it might be in your, be somewhere in your state laws or codes. And, for here example, in Ohio, it's under, in the Ohio Revised Code, it specifically says, under evidence, it says privileged communications. Okay. Well, when you get down to, where is it? I just had it and I scrolled back up. They talk about healthcare providers, doctors, everybody involved in things here. Then they get down to, here's another one, a cleric. When the cleric remains accountable to the authority of that cleric's church, denomination, sect, or concerning confession made or information confidentially communicated for a counseling purpose in their professional character. So once again, it's, if you have an imam, if you have a rabbi, confession, the right, that's the right of confession. Well, that's not exactly how that works in every other religion. But you are allowed to confide. You're allowed to seek counsel in your religious leaders. So that's protected here in Ohio. But it's got to be protected and it's got to be explicit. You got to follow all these rules. The cleric may testify by the express consent of the person making the communication, except when the disclosure of the information is a violation of a sacred trust, and if that person voluntarily testifies or is deemed to have waived that privilege. The cleric may be compelled to testify on the same subject, except when disclosure is in violation of a sacred trust. So unless I just like spousal privilege, I have to allow it. Attorney-client privilege, the client has to waive it. Well, in this case, the penitent has to waive it. Let his clergyman speak. Or unless he's voluntarily waived it, or he's accidentally waived it, maybe it's already been disclosed, or he did something to screw up that privilege. So it just lays out, and every state's different, but you should look it up. It's curious to see what kind of privileges, because some states have it, some states don't, and there's all varying ranges of what's covered and what's not, how it's covered. Yes, Eric Foam says only the penitent man will pass. Because he's humble, therefore he kneels. Eric Foam says, can you help an old altar boy, Father? Oh. Yes, the confessional seal, yes, in the Catholic Church is a very sacred thing that outrules any man-made law. Yes. But that's the reason why for a long time the Catholic Church was the only thing that applied to that, because you didn't have confession in other religions. Can the priest legally snitch if not compelled? I mean, yeah, they would, but I mean, in many religious situations, you're going to be disciplined and fired for that by your church or your congregation. And rightly so. You shouldn't be doing that. Your job is to have a sacred trust that people are supposed to be able to confide in you as the man of God for counsel and for those purposes. And if you can't handle it, you'll get punished later. Yeah, I got the piece not out. Yeah. Yes, Alpha Fox right. The NLRB is fun, fun, fun. Yes, it is. Rabbit One says that's brilliant. Shouldn't be here anyway. Yeah, but they are. Jim says, what's going on with the Columbus City attorney trying to violate everyone's rights? Yeah, he's trying to go after some magazine stuff down here. It's not going to go anywhere. We have state preemption. There's a bunch of stuff in the way. I haven't checked on it in a while because it was kind of lingering in kind of like pretrial hell. I'll probably take a look at it tonight after the show's over, which you guys could do on potentiallycriminal.locals.com, where we go and hang out. In fact, I'll just bring that up right now. If you guys do, you can join the live chat that we have currently going on and get to see all the things we aren't allowed to talk about here. And it's only $3 a month. And in fact, I think it's set up if you do the year, you get 2 months free. So only at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. And earlier this week, you watched me try to electrocute myself while trying to weld. So you kind of come on there when doing different stuff. Sweet Tooth says, do lawyers have that right to not rat out their clients? We do have the opportunity to break attorney-client confidentiality only in certain situations. One of them being is if you are committing a fraud on the court. And then the other major one is, for example, if you implicate me in some sort of crime, or let's say you bring me before the bar because you grieve me, I have the right to say, no, that's not what he said. That's not what I told him. And you have the right to break that to protect yourself. But overall, no, you shouldn't ever fucking talk about what you and your client do, especially like those attorneys did for Trump in this indictment. Those little snitches because they got scared. Yes, unless your name's Trump, then you get no privilege. Mystery Sniper says Sean is cheap on locals. You can buy low. Yes. Third Rail Fight says the welding was great. Yeah, and I found out that battery was dead. Yeah, I was seeing spots for a little bit. Any thoughts on the 4 kids being found hidden from paramedics after a gay trans man OD'd and there were other men in the house lied and said there were no kids around? Yeah, that whole thing is weird. That whole thing is weird. So, yeah, that whole thing is weird. That's all I can say about it right now. Going back over to Rumble real quick. You guys are talking about the man buns are open season. Yeah. Sporkio says it was a smug looking Hitler. Winter Soldier says he looks like Ted Lasso. Oh, come on. J-Man says, did that kid use an entire eraser? Maybe one of those big, like pink one, those pink erasers that you get for like art class and stuff. J-Man says Jeremy Bentham's body is stuffed and on display. Yes, it is in London. Yes, he wanted that done. And Michael says you forgot to all about all the smoke you inhaled. Oh no, I know. When I learned how to weld, my shop teacher called me a smoke eater, and I didn't get it right away till like I realized I was eating all the welding smoke. Yes. So I think I got. Actually, that's it tonight, guys. We're all caught up. Got all the super chats done. Think here. Yeah, that's it. Everything. So I guess I just want to say at this point, thank everybody for being here. Thank you if you guys are over in Locals Land, if you guys are over in the ghetto over on Rumble, always appreciate it. Everybody there commenting, I love it. Everybody here over on YouTube, thank you so much. Everybody like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. If you guys are doing it your first time here, we do this every Thursday night, 9:30. Gonna raid Joe Neerman? Yes. And did we miss Scott Peterson? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Scott Peterson is currently on trial. The state rested yesterday. The court gave them a horrible time. The judge almost BTFO'd the prosecution. Looks like he's probably going to get acquitted. The defense is currently going. If there's a verdict on that, we'll probably cover it. Benjamin Lewis says, what were you welding? I was welding a transmission housing for a rototiller for the back of a tractor. But yes, we are going to raid Joe. And if you guys, I actually might poke my head in there for a minute as well to see what's going on. Oh, they got a whole party of people over there. Let me see. Get this set up for Yosef here. Customization. Redirect. Good logic. We are all set. You guys are going to get redirected over there to Joe. I'll check in for a couple minutes over there. Then we'll be over on Locals having fun tonight. So thank you again, everybody. I always appreciate it. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're Hunter Biden, then you were pretty fucking guilty. But, hey, I guess congratulations on getting one over, I guess.